We deal a lot with an Oura Ring and a Whoop, and I like them both. I do like both of them. Apple Watch will work really well. I don't know about wearable, but any kind of like bioelectrical impedance in the scale in things when people get on a scale and it tells you your body fat daily, that one I would love to throw out.
Hey, it's Rocky. Welcome to Richer Soul. Today's guest is Ashley Garcia, who helps successful people focus on their health. Imagine it's 12 months from now, and you've achieved your major life goals. How does it feel to be in the best shape of your life? To wake up energized, excited about the day? To have great relationships and friends who support you and propel you forward? How does it feel to have an excess of money, to be able to make the choices you want? To be fearless and open to trying new adventures? Imagine being connected to the universe and it providing everything you desire. It's possible over time, and your past does not dictate your future. The only thing holding you back from this vision is you. It's time to take control of our thoughts and use them to our advantage. Welcome to Richer Soul, where we achieve our dreams and bring balance to health, wealth, relationships, time, and spirituality. If you have not had a chance to listen to episodes 1 through 9, I encourage you to go back and listen to the framework behind Richer Soul and how to create the life of your dreams. You can also find all the show notes for this episode at richersoul.com. Today, we're back at a core function of life, health. If you don't get the basics down, everything else is irrelevant, meaning a pill or an advanced treatment is not going to be very effective because you have a weak foundation to work off of. So build a strong foundation, and then you can add these extras on that will allow you to enjoy and participate in life as you age. Ashley Garcia is a health and wellness coach, IFBB Figure Pro, and elite athlete dedicated to helping individuals achieve optimal wellness and longevity. With years of experience coaching athletes, entrepreneurs, and high performers, she takes a holistic approach to transformation, focusing on mindset, movement, nutrition, and recovery. She's passionate about whole body wellness and helping her clients to build sustainable habits that enhance their vitality, performance, and overall quality of life. Let's meet her and see how she does it. Welcome to Richer Soul, Ashley Garcia. It's great to have you join us today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited too. We always like to start at the beginning. What was it like when you were growing up, and how much did your family and school teach you about money?
So I grew up in rural Illinois. So you were either a farmer, a nurse, or a teacher, which are all amazing things. But there wasn't really any talk of entrepreneurship or, anything that will expand our minds and lead us into other careers. So grew up in a town that I love, but very kind of small-minded. I remember going to my college counselor and saying that I wanted to be a marine biologist. And she said, it's too hard. So I didn't end up doing that. There was a small rural Illinois, there was no outside of the box thinking. My parents were divorced, so there wasn't really unity in money. We didn't talk about money at all. My grandpa won the lottery when I was little. The only conversations we ever had about money was how grandpa, got lucky. That was it.
Was it a really big jackpot or like life-changing or?
Yeah, for back then, again, rural Illinois, cost of living is pretty cheap. And it was in 84. So it was 1.6 million back then. And he was the janitor for the school. They lived in a one stoplight town. And so, he retired. He was the janitor, the school bus driver, and the superintendent, all for that one little school. And he retired and he did really well. He invested well and they lived a wonderful life.
That was the perfect year to invest in the stock market.
I didn't know. Well,
it literally was, because we went on a run from about 1983, 1984, or 80, right in that range, to pretty much today. The Dow was in triple digits back then, meaning it was less than 1,000. I don't know what it is today, 30-something thousand. So if you think about it, it was phenomenal. Of course, interest rates were like 14, 15, 18% because we had inflation.
Yeah.
Different time. Out of curiosity, did your guidance counselor say that because you were a girl and that was science, or did everyone get that advice?
After actually, I think this guidance counselor is still in her office. I believe after all these years, it's just a kind of known fact that she helps kids that she likes and other kids. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't go to that, but it's maybe she just wasn't supposed to be in that job. I think it wasn't just because of gender. I don't know. I still think about it. It makes me sour, actually.
Do you hold on to it, though, mentally, or are you beyond it?
Apparently, I didn't know we were going to touch on that today. I do.
And the part of that, though, that's important, I think, is because for every single one of us, well, I won't say that for others, but I think we hold on to stuff from childhood.
Absolutely.
And it stings, right?
Yeah. It does. I mean, when I go home, I'll see her every now and then and I smile, but I think, man, but yeah, it does. We hold on to things for sure.
The best revenge is success.
It is.
You should go have that conversation. Thank her. Go, I could have been a marine biologist, but now, I'm a successful business owner flying around the world and hanging out with the best people. And
right. I definitely should.
And let it go.
Yeah. And let it go.
Let it go. Trust me, I've been doing a lot of work in that area, so I get it. And I see it in so many other people and many of our guests. I mean, it's kind of the conversation we have around money is, especially for some, it's like, have you let it go yet? And some are like, a lot of them are yes, but there's a lot of people still like, no, it's still there. Even though I'm 1,000 steps up.
Yeah.
It still tugs.
Yeah. Well, clearly it's still really raw on me. And I didn't, know that until I just told you. So yeah, got to heal that one.
That's what our friend Erin fixes. That's what she's been helping me with. Letting go of all that stuff. And she was a guest too on the podcast. We're not hiding anything, people. You can listen to all of this.
She's amazing. Amazing.
She is. So clearly you didn't go to marine biology. What happened next?
Actually, I went to culinary school. I'm a service-oriented person and I love to bake. I love to cook. I wanted to open my own bakery and I went to culinary school with that in mind and, did the whole thing. Best time of my life, I will just tell you, because we bake croissants in the morning and who had to eat them? We did. I mean, the whole class, it was so great. We had amazing lunches because we had to eat what everybody was cooking. I mean, it was awesome. So I ended up going to culinary school and then met my husband and I had a baby at the end of that. And so I really I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. It's really what meant the most to me. I was, had a great mom, but she worked 2 jobs and it was the one thing that I wanted for my life, for my kids. It was a non-negotiable for me. So that's what I did for a while, was a mom.
And then what happened?
And then as I'd say entrepreneurial spirited people do, we get bored. I mean, it was great. I loved it, but I knew that there was more out there. So I loved training. I loved exercise. It was always healthy for me. And I, got into training, personal training. I loved the body and how it moved. And I was fortunate enough, I actually lived in Cabo San Lucas for 12 years in Mexico. And I was fortunate enough to be with some really amazing clients who flew me around the world and the United States. And I would just train them in their spots as they went. And so I really fell in love with, the body and the way it moves is awesome, but I fell in love with the results that they had, the way that they felt, how much this had an impact in their life, and that I was a modality for them to do that. I was sort of that, pathway to make them feel, at their very best. They were obviously very successful. They had a lot going on, and I was able to also, make it easier for them, be of service. So it was another way of being of service. And then after, training for a while, I realized I wanted to challenge myself as a person, because you can only be challenged so far in some way before you're like, okay, I need to step up some other place. So I started with fitness competitions myself. It took me, I think, 7 years, but I won my pro status. So I'm a professional competitor, done several professional shows. Just an amazing experience. It's nothing more raw and real than being judged in a bikini on stage. So definitely a growth experience. And that led me to really, because we had to get so precise with our training and our nutrition, it led me into competition prep coaching for other people. So helping guide them, the precision of that is just so, the minute details make a big difference. So all of that with my service oriented, like personal training and stuff really led me into what we do now, which is coaching high earning executives, entrepreneurs, anyone who's extremely busy.
How did you deal with all that feedback getting judged on stage?
Well, the first time I was on stage, I completely blacked out. So I couldn't tell you. I don't remember. I didn't pass out, but I don't remember a thing about it. But, I'm a person who I like feedback. I do like feedback in the sense of if I have a goal and I want to get better at it, I want to know what you saw in that. I knew who to take criticism or feedback from and who not to take it from. I think everybody in that world has their own opinion on what you should look like, what you shouldn't look like. Maybe not even just that world, pretty much every world, right? So I knew who I needed to listen to, and I went after their feedback, and I was like, okay, that's what's going to make me better.
So the first part is understanding that you should really question who is judging you and whether you want their feedback. And then 2 is trying to figure out who really has your best interest at heart and who really can give you the keys to get to the next level. And that's not easy to do. How were you able to do that?
Probably because that counselor told me no. And I was like, I already know that you're not my person. It wasn't easy. I know there were several people I listened to that I probably shouldn't have listened to and that kind of thing. But I've always stayed true to my authentic self. And so I feel I just have great discernment around maybe someone else's agenda when they're saying things to me. If it doesn't resonate with me, if it doesn't, it's a feel. I have a feel. I guess that's the best way to say it. It's just a level of emotional intelligence.
And some people have it, and then there's me, and I get it. It's funny, though, because if you look at a lot of, especially on the tech side, and a lot of the people who have done really well driving forward, the one thing that you'll notice with all of them is no EQ. No, for whatever reason, it's, hey, we have a job to do. We're going to go get it done. And that kind of focus. That's okay. Before we get to how you help and what the struggles are, we connected because we have friends in Genius Network.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little, what is Genius Network and how has it helped you?
So Genius Network is created by and led by Joe Polish. Just an amazing, amazing marketer, amazing businessman. Don't know who he is. Definitely have to look him up. He loves everything interesting, which makes him interesting. So he's a lot of fun to be around. You know what? It's a group of, at the very just essence of being in the room, it's a group of people of just different levels of entrepreneurship. And they're at very different levels, all with amazing ideas, all coming into a space, sharing experiences, struggles, opportunities they have with zero ego. That's the biggest thing. Can you imagine a place where someone who sold their business at, I don't know, $500 billion or whatever, just some insane number, and they come and I ask them a question. There's no ego there. They're so willing to help. They're willing to give advice. They're willing to actually connect with you afterwards and just help you through it. So Genius to me has been one of the best experiences ever. I've gotten really close to a lot of the entrepreneurs there. It's a hard word for me to say today. And a lot of the people there, and really just experience so much knowledge and genuine connection at the annual event last year, which was amazing. Joe had the most amazing speakers. And I connected with someone that I see maybe once a year. And I said, what makes Genius so different? And we both really decided that it was the level of conversation that happens in 5 minutes is so much deeper than if you had talked to this person for a year straight. Like in that 5 minutes, it's so deep and so rich. The environment feeds it. We're all open and ready to learn, ready to give. It's just amazing.
How do they weed out the takers?
That's probably a question for Joe. I'm not sure what he does on that end, but I know there are takers for sure everywhere we go. I haven't experienced it in Genius. I'm just saying, in the world, they're all over. How they weed them out, I don't know, but they've created just an amazing group of people together that just complement each other, even though everyone's so different.
Okay. And what is it like? I mean, you're talking about, hey, in 5 minutes, I have a deeper conversation than over time. What is it that makes it so deep?
I think because we're all open. We're all there for a purpose. We're all there to learn. No one is above anyone else. We're all there to just really soak in whatever knowledge we possibly can to better our business, our health, our wealth, everything like that. So I think we're all there with an open heart. And so when we do connect, it's not guarded. I'm not there to take from you. I'm there to give to you.
Makes sense. So let's get back to fitness. You're dealing with highly successful people, and yet it sounds like are they struggling with fitness, or are they trying to push their levels higher?
It's a little bit of both.
Or is it vary?
Yeah, it's varied. It just depends on the person. And what we've noticed with coaching is that when you have an extremely successful business or anything like that, you are nowhere on your list to take care of. I mean, you're not a thing to you. Like you will go like latte dinner. No one, really takes care of them. So it's like when was the last time you ate breakfast? That's a common question we have. And they're like, what do you mean eat breakfast?
All right. Well, you finish your comment and then we'll talk about breakfast.
Okay. So it's just, are you taking care of yourself? Like sleep is non-existent. Stress levels are off the charts. It seems to be like you sacrifice your well-being for the benefit of the company. And once the company is up and running or whatever, even if in the midst of it, you're not even on your radar to take care of. So it's really the majority of is the basis is nobody does anything for themselves. It's for the company or for their goal.
I'm weird that way. We don't take phone calls before 9 a.m. because by the time I get back from the gym and all that stuff and shower and go through my morning routine, well, actually, no calls before like 10 on Mondays.
Good for you. That's impressive.
I have a mastermind on Tuesday morning, so that starts at 9:15. Wednesdays, I might do a 9. Thursdays, sometimes we go early because of someone else's schedule, but generally 9. Fridays, I try not to have any calls, but you never know.
Sounds like you have a good work-life balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I built the business to serve me, not me to be a slave to it.
There you go.
Breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. And it's not because I don't have time. It's because I do intermittent fasting.
Mm-hmm.
And so breakfast is the easiest meal to kind of get rid of. And that's when I started losing all my weight, was not eating breakfast. And I think the second half of the problem is most breakfast foods suck in the sense that they are nothing but sugar, right? And that is not a great way to start your day.
No, well, I agree with that, but I don't know what kind of breakfasts you're eating because breakfast is my favorite meal of the day.
Once a week, I have breakfast. I have eggs and bacon and hash browns and toast with lots of butter, but that's once a week. But I usually skip lunch on that day because I've had a big breakfast.
So you're more intuitive in your eating.
I tend to follow macros. So I'm very big about, hey, these are my protein goals. These are my fat goals. And I keep my carbs low. But what I've found is after years of low carb, I now need to get more carbs. Mm-hmm. And I need to cycle more carbs based on what the day looks like. So if I'm lifting heavy weights, I'm going to throw a bunch more carbs on. And not before, but after. On days where I'm not doing as much, I try to get my carbs relatively low. I've actually started having protein shakes in the morning just because I'm working out in the morning and I've been doing them fasting and I'm trying to tweak stuff. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's try that. Tim Ferriss always used to talk about 30 grams of protein first thing in the morning. And here's the thing. There's no one right answer, right? The answer is what works for you.
You're so right. I love that you said macros, though we could talk about that all day, but you're 100% right. It's what works for the person. So not everyone's the same. Some people just hear the word macros and they run the other way.
Oh, well, too bad for them. I mean,
I also track macros and I have for years. And to me, it really helped me through like binge eating and different things. So I'm a fan.
Well, and I think part of it is, and I've come to learn, is not all calories are created equal. Everyone's body is going to react differently. And some people have the luck of a fast metabolism. Some people don't. So you have to figure out what works for you and how that comes together. And it's funny. And the reason I put carbs back is because I anecdotally noticed on certain days, if I had a slice of pizza, I lost weight. And I'm like, wait, that makes no sense to me. And then I noticed, on certain days when I eat a steak, I lose weight. I'm like, huh. And so I've been trying to figure out how they go together. And also, I've worn continuous glucose monitors at times to see, hey, what is my body doing? How's it reacting? And now that I'm getting older, I notice it's not as, compliant as it used to be. But one thing I have figured out is if I'm away a bit, it takes me 2 weeks to recover. And I never imagined it would take that long.
As in you're like away on vacation or away from macros or?
Away on vacation or away at a conference for 6, 7, 8. Because at that point, I don't get to pick my food. Or I'm trying to pick my food, but what is commercially made is not the same as what I'm cooking at home. Not even close. It messes up my system. And even though I think I'm eating well, I mean, I could have a steak out and God knows what they've done to it. So that's what I find. I don't know. I mean, you're the expert here.
Yeah. You could take my job. That was great. That's what we found too. I mean, after being in, competition really helped me understand how macros worked individually. So obviously with my own body and then helping girls, mostly girls, get to the stage and how it really like the smallest tweak worked really well. So, just the different distribution of carbs and fats will work better for your body sometimes. And it can go on a streak of, man, these just high fat, low carb meals feel amazing. I'm dropping weight. And then all of a sudden you have some pizza and your weight goes down and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And so your body just like constantly changes too. So yeah, I mean, that's what it is. It's not a one size fits all for anybody at all. And sometimes, say you're following macros for a while and you notice a stall or plateau or just not feeling great or whatever your goal may be. It's just, if you keep calories the same, but you redistribute your macros, things will really change just because your body maybe is not handling fats as well. For instance, my body hasn't historically handled fats well at all. So I try to keep them a little bit lower than I would love. I love anything with nuts. I'm a almond person, I'll almond everything up. But I can't eat more than a certain amount or the next day and the day after. And I'll gain weight, even though it's quote unquote a healthy food, but I can eat carbs all day.
You're lucky. How do you figure this out? Like, how do you figure out what works for you? And then what do you do when it kind of stopped working?
Well, we're our best science experiment. We really are, which you also said, it's just figuring out, paying attention to the food that you eat. I like to think 20 to 30 minutes after I eat something, how am I feeling? I have a quicker metabolism, things kind of move. So it hits me right away if I'm not feeling great, if I'm, bloated, probably not the best visual, but you just you listen to the cues of your body and how it feels. And then you make adjustments based off of that. So with clients, we'll make an adjustment. It's almost sometimes weekly with macros. If they are really dialed in, the more dialed in you are, which sounds like you're really dialed in, we would be able to go in, look at your foods, what your patterns are, when you're eating them, workout times, activity levels, and the sleeping, stress, all of it. And be able to make adjustments based off of all of those different factors. And even it's sometimes, most of the time, it's not changing calories and just redistributing, or some cases you're not eating enough. So we are adding food to your diet as well.
It is really hard to get a lot of protein, especially if you're out. It's almost impossible when you're out to be able to do that.
Yeah, we're America, right? We eat steak. Like, I'm from the Midwest. It was like steak and potatoes, but we're not, if you go out, it's, we're not a real protein centered country. Everything is processed or cheese and tortillas. But it's difficult too. So we have clients, we're searching different brands of like even a beef jerky that's really natural, just something that they can take on the go, because a lot of our clients also travel or they're on the road a lot, any kind of things like that. Shakes we don't always love because of that artificial protein, but sometimes if you have one every now and then, or once a day is what we like to limit you to if you can, and get whole foods in. But yeah, when you're traveling, it's tough to get in all of the nutrients.
This episode of Richer Soul is sponsored by the Profit Answer Man podcast. If you're a business owner who wants to scale and grow, increase profits, or want to have strategic conversations around your financials, then check out the podcast. You'll learn how to work less, increase cash flow, increase profits, and build reserves to help you weather storms. It's built on the Profit First methodology of pay yourself first. The Profit Answer Man podcast is a must listen to for every small business owner and anyone who wants to help them survive and thrive. Check it out on your favorite listening platform. So you've talked about sleep a couple times. How much sleep do we really need?
Yeah, well, this will shock you. So the suggestion is like 7 to 9 hours. When was the last time you got 7 to 9 hours?
Me?
Yeah.
Last night?
Okay, good.
I am good. There are days where I will go, occasionally on the weekend, I'll get 9 or 10. Occasional. But it's usually because something happened during the week and I just woke up. I just go to bed on time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't worry. Like, people realize, they forget. The morning is built on the night. Go to bed on time, right?
Yeah.
And then everything else will kind of work itself out.
Yeah.
If you're up till forever, then that's not the case. So I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Is setting your evening routine up.
Yeah. What we call sleep hygiene in our world. Yeah. And just really making sure that you stick to a bedtime, that you put away the screens going to bed. I'm pretty bad about it. I like to scroll. I like to watch little cute dog videos at night while I'm trying to sleep. It's my favorite. Don't knock me. It's the one thing. But, drinking tea and stopping caffeine after like 2, and then drinking tea instead if you need something in the night. And, just really focusing on quality sleep. As entrepreneurs, we have a lot who don't sleep. They don't like to sleep, or there's too much going on, or their quality of sleep is different because they're either stressed or they just got too much to do. Who has time to sleep?
I do.
Yeah.
But that's my choice.
I know. You're like the epitome of health and wellness.
I'm not. I'm not. I try, but I'm not. I do all the right things and it still doesn't work half the time. That's what drives me crazy.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's more to it than that.
There could be more to it. You don't know. It's, and sometimes the body is doing what the body wants, regardless of what you think. So it's really that they put themselves last. Is that what it is? They're not focused on that.
Yes.
What is it that prompts them to make the change?
A lot of times it can be word from your doctor, right? It's more of a bigger scare. It could be, hearing someone else feeling better and then saying, oh, wait a minute, I need to also do it. When you're high achieving, like I said earlier, you get to a certain level and then you just know that there's more out there and maybe you need to challenge yourself in another way. Also that we have a lot of clients to come to us for different reasons. After working with them for a while, one of my favorites is like, I can't believe how bad I felt before. I didn't even know. That's one of them. And then their productivity also goes up. I mean, they're getting rid of brain fog. We do have them pay attention to their hormones big time. So, I mean, that's a big thing to also pay attention to. If something's off there, but you're doing everything right, maybe things won't be changing in the direction you want it to, and you may not feel great either.
And for me, I think one of the reasons I'm doing a lot of this is I'm getting older, and I realize when you look around, there are some old people who are very vibrant. Mm-hmm. And then there's old people who are barely moving. And I know what group I want to be in. And I realize that just like my money compounds, my health compounds. So I'm going to start doing all of those things early. I have a longevity doctor that we work on Healthspan and taking different measurements, not all the time, but from time to time. Mm. And just looking at what are all the risks and working through the risks to alleviate them and be able to do that. And Joe Polish doesn't really talk about health like Dan Sullivan does at his programs, does he? Or
he does talk about health often. I haven't been to Dan Sullivan, but he does talk about health in quite a few different doctors in Genius. So
okay, are they more so along the longevity health span side?
They're all different, but we are really in tune with the longevity of health in Genius. Yeah.
So are there certain things that you've seen helpful to improve health span?
Definitely. I mean, now the tests that they do, testing all the way down to your cellular level to see your cellular health, right? And addressing those issues. And it's more than just, I think maybe even 10 years ago, the small little panel you could get from your primary care physician and really go in depth with that and then be able to curate either vitamins for that, see where you are just deficient, and just all the way down to the cellular level. And then with peptides and all of this, I mean, I'm a big fan of peptides and how they're used. And when my clients use them, they feel so great. I've used them myself. So, yeah.
What are peptides and how do they help?
So, well, from my understanding, they're, like amino acids in your body. So we already have them. They take them out. They do this amazing sciencey stuff. And then they make this formula that helps whatever the peptide is specific for. So I did one. I gave myself a shot for 40 days, which was also a feat for me. So I did it. I was pretty proud of myself. But I have always had kidney issues. Always growing since I was a little kid. I mean, it was just something to help with like underlying bacteria and things like that. And I never felt better. I just hopefully that's not TMI, but it's true. It's real. It's raw. Then we have BPC 157, which is really widely used, which is just like this great anti-inflammatory that helps with, joint health and injuries and gut health. And I mean, there's just so many great benefits to peptides, and there's so many out there that I don't even know about.
I think one of the things I've noticed is everyone's looking for a pill or a shot to solve their problems. But until you have underlying health, none of those things are going to do very much for you.
Absolutely. So you hit it on the head that everybody just wants a quick fix. They want to lose weight quickly or, the whole marketing fads and everything like that. But if you don't have the underlying health, taking peptides isn't really going to help you out too much. It's, not going to do what you want it to do if your cells are, sick in a sense.
So we've talked about the nutrition side, but you were more of a bodybuilder. So what do we do on the exercise side that's reasonable?
Sure. Oh, well, let's arm wrestle. I think we should arm wrestle. Yeah. Lifting weights, maybe it has a bad rap from the Arnold days or I don't know what, but lifting weights is so good. I saw your face. I get that a lot. Lifting weights is, when I say that to people, they're like, what do you mean? Why do I have to lift weights? But it's so good. I mean, the resistance training, we need to maintain our muscle. Muscle is our key to longevity on top of this. So imagine like you're a 74-year-old woman or a 74-year-old man and you have no muscle mass and you break your hip. The chances of you leaving the hospital are little to none. So when you're looking at this older generation that's more vibrant, I mean, they're still active, they're still moving, they're doing things. So yeah, resistance training, you can start with the basics. You can do 2 to 3 days a week. If you're not sure how to do it, I suggest getting a personal trainer at the gym so that you focus on your form and that you can create good pathways, muscle pathways, so you aren't injuring yourself or anything like that. And start with full body, a couple days a week, but make sure it's challenging for you. And that resistance training is good for hormones, longevity, the whole thing.
I'm not a fan of cable machines. Okay. I will say it for me. I never was able to progress. Like I couldn't build muscle on cable machines. When I started lifting like Olympic weights, so squat, deadlift, bench, like those are my 3 go-tos. And then I do stuff beyond that. That was a game changer. And I was shocked at the progress I made on the cable, because I go do that and then I'm like, oh, let me try a cable machine. And it was night and day, where I would go for 3 years and barely move up 10 or 20 pounds on a cable machine. After doing that, it was like multitudes of moving up on the rack.
Yeah. Well, it's not always about the weight you lift. I understand what you mean. You're getting stronger, but I'm the same as you, as I've been lifting the same weight for years on whatever movement we're doing. I don't really go up too much in a cable, but I've definitely progressed and definitely gained muscle from it. So, I mean, yeah, it's really about challenging the muscle in whatever movement you're doing, not necessarily about how much you lift. So if you see that stall, doesn't mean you're not getting stronger. You can focus on range of motion. You can focus on, one more rep if you can't add weight. But yeah.
What is optimal? Like for weightlifting, what do you think is an optimal amount of time and effort into it?
That's optimal is a very personal word, I think.
We're not trying to be bodybuilders. We're just trying to be healthy entrepreneurs.
Yeah. If you can get in 20 minutes, great. 30 minutes is probably optimal. It depends on your goal. If your goal is to gain muscle, and, we do have some clients who want a lot of time in the gym, right? That's their goal. Great. But if you are here just for longevity purposes and to get some muscle tone and strengthen your body, 30 minutes is perfect.
So I'll go back to Tim Ferriss, because he was the one that kind of was the key to my shift way back when. This is going back, in excess of 10 years. So he's probably changed everything from that. But the one thing I took away from it was minimum effective dose. He's like, you can do the minimum amount and get a maximum result. That what you do in 20 minutes, you can go spend 2 hours in the gym and you're not going to make much difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people get off kilter.
Yeah. That and consistency. That's the big one.
Oh, you have to show up?
You have to show up, and you have to do it more than one time. Yeah. So you could be there 20 minutes. You can be there 2 hours. You can do whatever you want in the gym. But as long as you're showing up to that 2 to 3 times a week or whatever you've committed to, and you know what you need for your goal, then it's consistency is everything.
It is. And the more that you can make it systematic and get it into your calendar and make it happen, the better off you are. And when I first started, when I traveled, what I did was I had a flexible thing. I'm like, hey, I'm traveling. I know that I am not going to go to the hotel gym 98% of the time and find a squat rack.
Yeah.
Certain gyms have them, which is very nice. So I said, hey, when I'm at those gyms, I will do whatever I can and I'll be flexible. I found too many people overset their goals and then they massively fail at them. Instead of setting a reasonable goal and just doing it consistently. I'm a consistent person, but I've come to realize most people aren't.
Yeah, I'm in the boat with you. But we're always about progress over perfection. So in our coaching, it's not about, here's the plan. Did you stick to the plan? How many squats did you do? Did you eat your broccoli? Like, what are you doing? It's, we want to walk clients through this whole journey. It is a journey. There's a bit of self-love in all of this that people don't think about. And so when it comes, that's where the consistency like kind of goes, because they'll start doing it. They see the plan. They're like, okay, yes, type A generally, I can do this, this, and this. And then they start going and they realize that this is something they have to block off in their calendar. They have to make the commitment to themselves when they do travel. And if they don't have everything in the perfect scenario, it's the first thing that will go. They'll be like, well, I just couldn't do it. Right. So we have sayings like progress over perfection. But in my family, we have a saying that's like, do what you can with what you have right now. Just do what you can with what you have. And that's way better than perfection.
That I will admit, I'm not perfect. So here's my thing from this morning. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It's workout 8:10.
Get out.
Yeah. 17,000 pounds listed today, but I failed at the last set on the bench press and I really sucked at my dips. But you know what? I showed up.
Well, to me, that shows you did. And to me, that shows that you worked out to the max and that you just had nothing left. So,
yeah, well, that and there's a little fear, you know, that barbell, like when you're not too sure and you don't have a spotter.
Yeah.
If I have a spotter, I do much better. You know, it's amazing how that happens.
Yes, for sure. When you have support.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing I've noticed. When I have a trainer or when I have that, I will do more than not. Or even when I'm there and I know somebody at the gym and that they're near me and they're watching, I'm like, oh, I got to do a couple more. I got to look good today.
Yeah, totally. I know that feeling. Absolutely.
Right. It's that ego thing. You gotta go for it. And so that's why it helps create the systems around you to make it happen. The reason all of this works is because the first thing I do is go to the gym, because if I don't do it first, I know it won't get done.
Yeah.
Like life will smush.
Yeah.
And it won't happen. So I just get it done. I get it done in the morning and then I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. And, you know, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. You can't take care of your business. You can't do anything.
And yet people still struggle with this. So how do you get them over their struggle?
I'm a communication and connection person. So it's sitting down, meeting with people and meeting them where they are. A lot of times we see the system and we've got it in place and it looks really easy to do. But that first step sometimes is the struggle, or maybe it's step 6 or whatever it is. It's a one-on-one. I like to be in tune with my clients and really listen to what's going on in the deep underlying root cause of why they aren't achieving what they want to achieve in their wellness.
Are there certain themes to those root causes?
Yeah, gosh, it sounds so harsh to say, but it is honestly like an act of self-love. It really is. There's a lot of stuff that comes up in this journey that people don't think about, because you're thinking about, I've got a plan. It's just exercise. It's just eating healthy. But when you're constant in everything that you do, choosing to go to the gym, choosing the next meal, choosing to go to bed on time, you're choosing yourself. And so it doesn't always feel good if people are used to not paying attention to their own needs. So when they're busy in their day to day and they've got big goals and dreams and things to achieve, their physical well-being is not one of those things. So when you have to take a step back and be like, okay, wait, I have to work on myself. I have this to do for myself. It doesn't include everyone else. There's a lot that can come up for a client in that whole space, the whole journey. So yeah, we meet with them and discuss it and move it.
So you're part therapist.
So, I mean, no, I'm not a therapist, definitely.
I understand that. You are not a licensed therapist. Yeah. Right.
It's a teamwork. It's definitely a collaborative teamwork. Yeah, we're focusing on clarity in this and systems behind it, right? How to get there.
And that really is the key, is if you build the systems and you just do the systems, then things work out. So for me, my system is I go to the gym first thing. My system is I have an app that tells me what I'm doing on that day. Like I know what I do every Monday because it's the same damn thing every Monday.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And I don't have to think. I don't go in there and walk around. What am I doing today? And nor do I sit there and stare at my phone while I'm in there.
Yeah.
It gets a little annoying when people think that the equipment is furniture. because I got to get through.
Do you walk around like like Jaws? Do you just kind of pace back and forth until they get off your machine? Or are you one that says, excuse me, buddy, I've got work to do?
So I have found the time in the morning where it's usually not very busy. And like even today, I went in and all 3 squat racks were taken. But there's 2 of these other ones that you can use as squat racks. So I just started warming up over there. And I barely got started warming up and someone left. And so then I just hopped in. It's a little tougher with the bench because there's less of them.
Yeah.
So I will usually either wait or push. Most of the time on those pieces of equipment, they're not the kind of equipment that people turn into furniture like some of the other stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's not as bad. I know it because I watch as I'm sitting there and seeing what's going on. Yeah. And it's just funny. And you know what else is amazing? And that was really surprising to me. Some of the strongest guys at the gym are not big at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They are just like, you look at them and you go, what? How did he just do that?
Yeah, strength isn't always how big you are, which was interesting in the community that I was in bodybuilding is like, we actually didn't lift super heavy. That wasn't something that we did. We lift for, for a certain amount of reps to push the blood into the muscle and really expand it, make it grow. We were not in there powerlifting by any means. Yeah.
No, most guys with big muscles aren't very strong. Or girls, That's the other thing, though. I think a lot of women are afraid that if they go to the gym, they'll end up with big muscles. Do you know how hard that is?
Yeah. Do you know how hard that is, Rocky? Oh, my gosh.
I do. I haven't gotten big muscles yet.
So many years with so many. And that's one thing that I get a lot of the time, too, because I am passionate about women and their health and, getting them into the gym and how resistance training will change their body, help their hormones, obviously longevity and all the great benefits there. They'll say, well, I don't want to lift. And I'm like, do you know how hard it is to lift and gain muscle, like big muscle, quote unquote big, right? Depending on who you're talking to. So it's extremely hard. We don't have the testosterone that you guys have by any means. And it's extremely hard. So that's been a battle for sure.
Is there any wearable tech that you find super helpful? And along the same lines, is there any wearable tech that you're like, yeah, that's just a gimmick?
We deal a lot with an Oura Ring and a Whoop, and I like them both. I do like both of them. Apple Watch will work really well. I don't know about wearable, but any kind of like bioelectrical impedance in the scale in things when people get on a scale and it tells you your body fat daily, that one I would love to throw out. It just imagine you get on the scale daily and so many things can change how that reads your body, whether you were dehydrated the day before, did you go to the bathroom, how late did you eat, how much salt did you have? And then they get on the scale and they're like, I'm up 3% body fat from yesterday. Whereas you and I know that it's probably not the case. It just messes with the client's mind so much. So I would love to throw that stuff out. I do anything that gets a client obsessed. I would like to throw it out.
I have one of those scales and I do get on it every morning. I don't care about the body fat percentage. And I know because it even shows me my percentage of not hydration. It tells me some water number and it tells me how much my bones weigh.
Yeah.
And my bones change weight every day. It's amazing how my bones change weight. I would have thought somebody would have just programmed the damn thing not to change, right? No such luck. But I just do it so that it tracks my stuff and it all ends up in my iPhone and everything combines in there and all my stuff talks to each other.
Yeah. And I love that. I mean, we look at a lot of clients' data. It's up to the client how in-depth they want to be. We can go in-depth as you want, but if it is something that you're going to obsess over and you can't live an actual life because of something like that, like a reading or something like that, it's not worth the measurement. But, when they all talk together, the more data we have, the better we can help for sure. But as long as you can take it and know that it is a fluctuation and you can either look at an overall trend or something like that. But
Well, and that's the key. What is the overall trend? What's the general number? I've learned something I do today might have 2 or 3 days worth of effect. And I think that was kind of a bigger aha for me, along with how long my body takes to reset these days, just age and everything else, and how it all comes together. The one thing we didn't talk about, and we just did an episode on alcohol, it seems the pendulum is really swinging back the other way now on no alcohol, that any alcohol, even a glass of wine, might not be good for you. And because I measure everything, I can tell you that alcohol and blood pressure go hand in hand.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I mean, I understand the role alcohol plays in our society. So I am not the kind of coach to say, no, you can never. I am the kind of coach that says, how do you feel when you drink it or after you drink it? Or how did you feel, going out? Like our clients go to a lot of dinners. It's a thing. I think it's way more accepted now for people to say, no, I'm not drinking than it was. Right. I mean, health is obviously of our forefront. And then we have other reasons where we're not drinking too. But yeah, I'm not a fan of alcohol in your body. Doesn't mean I don't like a good whiskey. I won't drink it, but I do like it.
Well, you can always have a sip, right?
Yeah.
Take a sniff and
move
along.
Yeah, pass it on.
It's time to learn the secrets of life. What's your secret to living an abundant life?
This is a Mary Morrissey quote, or something she always says, which is, what would I love? What would I love in this situation? What would I love my finances? What would I love my business to be? What would I love?
Do you find most people know the answer to that question?
Nobody knows the answer to that question. Unless you're in tune with it, you've asked yourself before, maybe you have a vision. I mean, if I'll be like, what would you love? I ask my clients that all the time. And there's not really, they're like, what do you mean? So.
Yeah, you're not going to get what you love if you don't define it. What did you learn later in life that you wish you would have learned sooner?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to make it about myself. Is that okay? I'm going to say that I wish I knew I could do the hard things. Probably a blanket answer, but I wish I knew that I had the courage and strength to do all these hard things. And I wish I would have done them earlier in life.
And the sooner you do them, the more hard things you can do, right? Because that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And if I would have been a marine biologist had I done that. So I don't know. It's good.
Really? Do you still want to be a marine biologist?
No, I don't.
If you were to give an 18-year-old one specific piece of wisdom, what would it be?
I have an 18-year-old. So I'll tell you, it would be, no matter what, just stay true to herself. Also sounds like a postcard or like something on the back of your wall. But it is true. It served me well. I always stay true to my authentic self. And it served me so well. So I wish that for her too.
That's what it all comes down to. If people would like to learn more about you and your coaching, how do they do that? Yeah, you can find me. You can email me. I'd love to meet you, have a consultation, just discuss you. I'd love to. It's Ashley at verawellnessco.com. And we'll put that in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today. Is there something Ashley talked about that you can use to improve your current condition? What about rewriting your story? I always say success is the best form of redemption, and it's never too late to think bigger and dream bolder. What are you doing for working on your health span to live as healthy as possible? For me, it's front and center in my day. I want to age gracefully. By the way, do you know someone who would enjoy this episode? Would you do me a favor and would you share it with them? Next week, we've got Nate Eward on to talk about finding your purpose. Thanks for listening. Have an abundant week.